I'm Melissa, and this is the Book Break. And today I'm really excited for our guest, Eoin Colfer, who you have all heard of, I'm positive. His most famous book series is probably Artemis Fowl, but he has a new one coming out for this Christmas season called Juniper Christmas. Let's bring him in and chat. Hi, Eoin, how are you?
Hey, Melissa. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
I'm great. I was very impressed by your opening graphic. I thought it was very cool.
Thank you. Thanks. Well, this book is brand new for our Christmas season, which is great. And we're just getting into that right now. So why don't you tell our viewers a little bit more about it?
Well, Juniper's Christmas is the story of two people. One is Juniper, obviously, and she is an extraordinary 11-year-old girl who's one of those amazing young people who just makes everybody feel better just by walking into a room. She's so nice, kind, pleasant, and helpful. But all of that doesn't help her when her mom goes missing. And the police are looking for her mom. She's heartbroken. And for a while, she doesn't know what to do. But then she decides she will seek out the strange, mysterious hermit who lives in a cabin in a field of trees beside the park. And she goes looking for this guy. And when she finds him, she realizes this is quite possibly Santa Claus, who has been missing himself for years and hasn't delivered presents. And it is Santa Claus, but he is not the Santa Claus we know. He is quite curmudgeonly. He is not friendly to children. He does not want to talk to children, and he certainly doesn't want to go back to work. And the reason for this is that his wife passed away, and he's just so heartbroken and torn up by grief inside that he just wants to be on his own, live in his hut, and just maybe help out people who need him.
Yeah.
But not children. And so the story is all about how Juniper brings Santa out of his shell, and also how they find Juniper's mother.
Yeah. And one thing that I noticed when I read the book was that it has a really great element too, that is teaching people charity and kindness and how to help different people regardless of their situation. And this particular part in the book, I know that they were helping the homeless. Tell me a little bit more about your passion for that.
Well, this was something I started some years ago when I was working on a book called Illegal, which was, we have an issue over here in Europe where a lot of migrants are being forced out of their own countries by war, and they're coming up, they're trying to get across the Mediterranean in very dangerous boats. And I, myself, my co-writer, were working with two charities on this, and most of the profits from the book just, went to homeless charities. And it really struck me that some of these poor kids, because no matter what you think about the politics, this, like when there's a kid in a boat, that's nothing to do with politics. That
Right.
You just have to care for that child. And then after all that, a lot of them were ending up on the streets. So I just thought that was heartbreaking. And I try to talk about that a little bit in books. But I know as a veteran writer that you can talk about it, but if you want to make it into a book, it still has to be entertaining. If you want to get your message across, the readers have to finish the book, and they will not finish the book if it's not a good book or if it's not well written. And it doesn't have to be light, but it has to be compelling, and that's what we want. I wanted to do with Juniper, was to tell the story of these people, but to couch it inside an adventure book so they will get to the end.
Yeah. And one of the things that you did with this book that helps the entertainment factor is you've got some really great illustrations in this book that are really fun and I think bring the story to life. And tell me how you worked with your artist a little bit. Let's, and I would love to show some of these great illustrations you can see with the mom and Juniper. Tell us a little bit more.
Well, I was all prepared to, work with the illustrator, who's a young Indian lady. She's absolutely fabulous, and it all came back perfect. This has never happened to me before. The pictures came back, and she had just paid so much attention to the text that they were absolutely gorgeous. And in that particular case we're looking at there, when Juniper has borrowed one of Santa's reindeers, it just leaps off the page. I mean, you couldn't. And I have a memory of being a young reader and just loving these classic books that were also a little bit illustrated. Not all the time, just maybe once a chapter or every 2 chapters, you get this beautiful, intricate picture that you can spend hours looking at, and it just adds such an extra dimension
Yeah.
to the book. And it doesn't mean you can't have your own imagination. They're just suggestions as to what the characters could look like.
Right, right. And I think they very much add to the story, which I love. So you've got so many other things that you're working on. And I noticed in the actual book you have, like we mentioned, you have a card in there to help go to supporting charities. And I think that's fantastic. And you're always working on things like this. Where can people
Yeah.
go to learn more about what you're doing?
All my information, I think, 2 places. The first one is Instagram. I'm just at Eoin Colfer, and I post up there quite a bit. And it's usually work-related stuff. And then I do have a website which gathers together stories, videos, information, any tour information. If you're wondering, am I coming to your town? It's just owencolfer.com. So they're the best 2 places.
Perfect. And right after we finish talking, we'll show a screen with all of your social media. And if they go to your website, I'm sure they can find your social media as well. Well, thank you so much for being here with us today, Eoin. It's been great chatting with you.
Yeah.
And thank you to our viewers. We'll see you next time.
You too. Thanks, Melissa. And it's a great show. So see you next time.